Alright guys, welcome to my little podcast. I didn't know how to record without doing a video, so it's kind of just the table you see right now. But anyway, so this is for checkpoint number 2 for the Education 2241 class. My name's Michelle. I'm not sure if it's just professor watching this, but hello if it is. If not, hello everybody. But I just wanted to go over the first question. So it was about the work style, philosophy, logistics, building and trust in family relationships, and also the communication style. So the first thing I want to touch on is the work style. So what I thought I got from the chapters we read, 5 and 6, was how the students learn, which is the most important thing. So I feel like as an educator, I need to set up a perfect plan for each student, especially if I am teaching in a special education classroom. Whether if I'm teaching in a special ed classroom or a normal classroom, every student learns a little bit differently and comes from a different background. So whether that child comes from a poor family who can't afford a house, and I don't know that because I'm just seeing them during the day, but I see how they're learning and maybe they need more help at home, maybe they're not getting the help they need. So as a teacher, I need to step in and help them. So I think that putting a plan for each student is very important. And next thing is the philosophy, and I feel like the philosophy and the logistics go kind of together. It's just how everyone works together as a class. So in my classroom, I know I would want to do group projects and things like that, and I just want the class to work together as a team and not really like go against each other. I think that is a big part of it. And then going down to building trust and the family relationships, going back to the IDEA of 2004, this made the parent equal to the IEP team that the school provides. So in the book it says, and I quote, "All students in a classroom community can benefit from a team of professionals working together, including educators, related service providers, and paraprofessionals working together in ways to promote meaningful and learning sense of belonging for all students." So that just shows that everyone needs to work together and they need to build trust between the family, the educator, the paraprofessionals, the services, and the child that is in the classroom. So by doing this, we can have a better, the child can have a better education and they can learn a lot better because the parents know exactly what they need. The paraprofessionals, the educator, and the services provided know about the disability or anything that's at hand that the child needs. And the last thing is communication style. So a big thing is language barriers, communication disorders. I myself am very active in the deaf community. I'm not deaf or hard of hearing, but I am going to school at another university for ASL interpreting. So I do know a lot about the deaf community and just deaf education, and something I really want to do is become a educational interpreter. So originally my plan was to do just special ed teaching, but then I fell in love with ASL when I took a class during my associate's degree. So I'm really leaning towards that, but I am very far into the teaching degree that I figured I'd just finish it out, get my bachelor's, and then get my associates in the ASL program, and eventually get certified to be on the national level. So using my bachelor's degree to do that. But anyway, besides the point, the language barrier can be something big. For example, ASL can be used for someone who is deaf, hard of hearing, or just is mute, doesn't talk. Or a lot of autistic kids also use ASL as their language and just to communicate. And if they can't say certain words or there's some kind of communication barrier, it's going to be really hard for the child to be educated correctly. So I feel like the language barrier is a huge part that communication needs to take part in a child's education. Now I'm going to move on to the second question, which was what academic support can you suggest to a teaching teacher who supports a student with a learning disability who is in 4th grade but reads at a 1st grade level? So the first thing is the child, I'm assuming, has a learning disability. So they are going to be behind. As a teacher, I would know that. And again, I would have to accommodate that student. So some modifications I would make is go to the parents first. I would know their input, find out their background, find out if they're helping the student at home read, because even a normal student without a learning disability, and the parents aren't helping in the beginning stages of them learning how to read, they're not going to be able to learn how to read, because a big part of reading is doing homework and doing just helping out at home. Like when you learned your alphabets, I'm sure you learned it in preschool or kindergarten, but I'm sure that your parents at some point instilled that alphabet in you, and it repeatedly did it almost every day, because I know my parents do, and I know that not all parents are like that, but sometimes with kids with a learning disability, they really do need that repetition and have to start it from a young age, so it's like a second nature to them, like it is for a normal person. But with a learning disability, it is a lot harder. So I would definitely go to the parents first. They know the child, they know what they like, so you can make a learning plan based on what that child likes, how they learn. And also, again, you need to work together with the educators, parents, the services provided, and paraprofessionals. They know the child the best, the parents, and the educators come second because they see them in the classroom. And then the services and paraprofessionals are professionals on the subject, so they do know how the child will learn. Again, I will make sure that me as the educator designs a good IEP for that student for that year, and make sure I follow it and make sure it works for that child, and not just what I think and what the parents think, but also just watch out for signs to see if they're responding well to the IEP or they need some kind of different plan. So from the book again, I'm quoting, it says, a general educator is expected to educate the students in his or her class. A general educator plans lessons, teaches those lessons, and assesses the student's skill. So again, as a teacher, for those modifications, I need to assess the skill and make sure that they are grasping the information and using it in the classroom and using it in their work and getting good results. Because if we're not getting good results for this child with a learning disability who's in 4th grade but has a 1st grade reading level, then it's not going to work. Another thing that I would do, which I'm sure all educators would do, was just make them read aloud. Sometimes it just helps the student to understand what's going on. Take the time to sit with them one-on-one or with an aide or whoever is in the classroom and be able to help to get the time the child needs. Is just sit down, help them read, maybe start from the beginning with the little sight words, and just, help them from there. Again, they'll probably have to have different tests or have someone help them read their tests, because in 4th grade, usually students are taking their own tests by then. But again, there's an exception because this child has a learning disability and needs some modifications in the classroom. Again, I can't say this enough, the family is the biggest part in this, because the family needs to just help them to read and understand that the educator can do everything they can, but the family, people that inspire that child, they're going to probably respond to more. So that's it for my little podcast here. This is different. I've never done a podcast for a class before, but thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next time.